I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, March 25th, and if you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald?
Here.
Councilmember Ashford?
Present.
Councilmember Haremza?
Here.
Councilmember Lamb?
Here.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Here.
Mayor Rapp?
Here. You have the minutes from the regular meeting of March 11th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there any changes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We do have one public hearing tonight. If the clerk would please read it.
To receive comments on the proposed 2024 Annual Action Plan.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on public hearing number 1? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. And we will move on to public comment. Before we start on public comment, the city manager is asked to make a few comments.
Yes. At the last meeting, Madam Mayor and Council, at the last meeting, I made a statement regarding a conversation I had with the Conant family attorney. It is now clear that I misunderstood what the position that the attorney was explaining to me, and I misspoke, and I spoke out of line. I want to apologize to the family for my misunderstanding and my mistake. I apologize for any harm I caused you. It was not intentional, and I am very sorry.
I will now open up the floor for public comment. Anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward, give us your name and address, and you have 4 minutes.
Ken Harris, 1521 Wells Street, Port Huron, Michigan. Council members, city manager, mayor, you know, just some few things that just started boiling up recently. The Times Herald recently dedicated a lot of print to the Children's Museum just down the street here. You know, and I went out and did a little research on it today and stuff. And to have the, I think the facility is the right idea, but I think it's in the wrong place. You know, the parking situation in that corner is horrendous, and it gets worse. I think to have this children's museum, I think you also need a bus parking so they can bring in groups from schools and stuff like that. These are things that can be adjusted, but I think to sell a point, I think it's a great idea, but we just got to do something with it and how we can accommodate our young students and our young people. Secondly, I think I'd like to talk to the area over there where the Harrison School is, where I live and stuff. And we've got a notice in the mail recently that the DTE and the Kaplan are going to be going through to do an adjustment on some of our power lines. And I know in the last 5 years we've lost power twice with lines down and things like that. But the biggest problem, I think, in the Harrison district, so these people can get on there, is we have people plugging the alleys. Tappan, the Detroit Edison Company, you know, it's not their job. They send us a letter and say, hey, this is what we're coming there in a month or so. And yet they show up and they can't get down a lot of the alleys in the area. I think we have to address the protocol on what can and cannot be in the alleys and take care of it. One other thing I'd like to bring up, you know, I had to look back. I think it was about 5.5 years ago. I brought up a point as a council member about the deterioration of 17th Street from Lapeer Avenue all the way over to Court Street, and also part of a 1-block area on 18th Street. The fact is that at that time I saw there was about 20 places where the water main had broken in that period of time. Well, this past winter, there have been 5 water line breaks on 17th Street and 18th Street, and they just keep multiplying. And I think what we really need to do is we've got to take a precise look at it. 17th Street, the curve of the street is this way. The street, we don't drain in the middle of the street, but 17th Street has a drain that goes right down the middle of the street because that's where the water lays, because that's where it flows. Well, the most recent leak, the city tore it up, and we've got asphalt on it, so they went out there to cut it off to squares for when they asphalted. But the sad thing is, They stopped here, and this other part over here is 4 foot wide, and it's all lower than the rest of the street. You know, if you're going to patch it up right. I think the whole thing needs to look at. I talked to a person the other day. He said, "Has the city ever examined why these persistent leaks are there?" Ever since it was redone about 25 years ago, or when they did the separation, since then they've had trouble with it. And part, like you say, part of it I think is the curvature of the street and stuff like that. But it's something that needs to be addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Holder Goth here, 11th Ave. I'd like to ask for just 1 minute, if I could, to just touch on the AAP that I missed by about 30 seconds.
We can't.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just rush through it then.
Okay.
I did note that I had a question about the administrative allocations, because I see we're allocating a maximum allotment for the CDBG funds of 20% to grant administrative costs. I'm wondering if that's the actual expectation, or if Port Huron has been able to achieve lower administrative costs, rendering the grant money to be more efficient. For the home allocation, Port Huron allocated the allowed 10% per HUD, but there are some inefficiencies within, as I see an allocation of $34,400 in total because of additional staff costs associated with the CHDO project that is a subrecipient. It's almost like what a layman would consider double taxation, where we use the grant money to pay the administrative costs associating with giving the subrecipient the grant money, and then the subrecipient also has to pay a staff allocation on top of the net amount they received. With the Pioneer program, we only apply 10% of the cost to admin, but for the money given to subrecipients, 23% in total goes to staff and admin allocation, which I would say is a little inefficient. And with the extra admin costs, the city could have funded an additional urban Pioneer down payment. And I guess on a quick note, I'll skim through this, but I did just want to apologize for the last meeting again. I recant the first part, but the poverty statement still stands. In the responses from the council is what gave me the most insight. And I've spoken on this before, and I feel that there's some dialogue that's lacking here, especially with people that find themselves right here on the podium. And I've now only ever been addressed in regards to my mistakes. Where was the input and consideration of anything else that myself and many others have proposed here? And I just can't comprehend how you guys feel one way or the other on certain things that are pretty important. From the presentation in January 8th of 24, in regards to the poverty reduction, there was a claim that the efforts are showing results. And I did mention previously that the reduction of poverty rate here is simply average in relation to nationwide poverty decreases. Would the council say this objectively average performance is indicative of effort? We haven't done anything to reduce the range that we're trending in. Is there something else in the works on a longer timeline that the council might believe will finally give Port Huron a push from double the national poverty rate to a more average level? A substantial part weighing down the impoverished in our city is our water and sewer utility, as many of people have come here and said before. And with Port Huron's stated average usage of 470 cubic feet of water per month, the annual water bill would come out to be about $1,158. For that same amount of water used in Fort Gratiot and the same water, it comes out to about half the combined sewer water costs. Half. And similarly, the township of Port Huron, Marysville, Detroit, Marine City, all pay less annually based on that same usage assumption for combined water sewer rates. Detroit, even renowned for their high sewage charges, will still pay less than us on average. The only city I've found so far with higher combined rates is Fraser, marginally higher by about 4%. I kind of expect to come to the conclusion that we are the highest, if not one of the top 3 rates in the county. And as of 2018, a report I found, we were about 23 to 43% higher than the county's average bill for water sewer. So I do only get these 4 minutes, and it's hard to give all this data the justice it deserves, but I've been analyzing this for a few weeks, and I do understand it's a very intricate topic, and a lot of things like sewer separation bonds come into consideration here. But I would just like to hopefully see you guys consider bill usage green credits, like preventing rain runoff. How can we alleviate the cost of debt associated with the sewer project?
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Good evening, Eileen Tesh, Algonac. As you know, last week, the Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, sent the Port Huron's infamous case of Linke versus Freed back to the lower court with the directives on how to resolve the First Amendment issues. In a nutshell, the plaintiff, Kevin Linke, must prove that Port Huron City Manager James Freed had the authority as an elected official to speak on behalf of the city and exercise that authority in his social media posts. With that being said, City Manager Freed is claiming victory in this case. He posted the following on social media. A unanimous U.S. Supreme Court ruled Friday that Port Huron City Manager was within his rights to block a local critic from his Facebook page if he did so as a private citizen and not as an official act, despite the critic's contention that doing so violated his own free speech. There's no victory in this case, regardless of how City Manager James Freed attempts to spin it. Simply by claiming a victory does not make it true. Unfortunately for the people of Port Huron, they have been saddled with no doubt an exorbitant legal costs that have been paid to defend this case over the last 3 years. We intend to FOIA the city to find out exactly what this amount is, and I wager to guess it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So where is the victory? Here we go again. Let's talk about downtown. James Freed continues to say downtown is booming, while it seems every day more businesses are closing, moving out. Talk about the Wrigley Center. It opened September 23rd with the project being a new social district, bringing more people downtown, $14 million investment, and for the most part, it closed February 29th, 2024. So we can talk about the coffee hours. There were 3 scheduled unprecedented coffee hours by the city manager. And for the most part, again, James Freed said it was a success, while in fact, very few people attended it. As you know, you were there, I was there. He moved the first location at the last minute and canceled the last one due to a scheduling conflict, and he promised to reschedule it. So again, it is election time, and we definitely deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? Please come forward. Give us your name, where you live, and you have 4 minutes.
Good evening. Curtis Carl, Portland Township. Don't really have much today, but I do have some for my sister-in-law, who is a city resident, and she is asking about the water bills and how they're being sent to Detroit now. Not sure if if that's a cost savings. Did we free up a position at the city to save money and send them down there? And I'm not sure how that all works. Maybe somebody can elaborate on that. And if it's cheaper, maybe sometimes I see cheaper is not better, but maybe moving forward it'll work for you guys. But that was a question she had about why the water bill's gotta go to Detroit. I did find out that you can still bring them down here and pay them, so that's still convenient as well. Still really no movement on Josh. Just wondering, if you guys are probing into it. It seems like, I don't know, we come here every week. Doesn't seem like anything that I've said has made a difference. I see they stayed closed, and that's a good thing, but I don't know. I feel, you guys could do more, say more, maybe you don't have to take a side, but you guys are going to just play Switzerland or whatever, stay neutral, and that's fine too, but we'd just like to see something. Other than that, we'll just keep coming and hoping. Maybe we'll get some answers. Maybe you can get some for us, but I'm not very optimistic on that.
Thank you. Just so you know, I do have a statement here that I was going to make about the water bills at the end. So, is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? Seeing no one, I will declare public comments closed. Pardon me? Well, I had it right here. We can do it. Yeah. You'll be here if I address it at the end of the meeting, will you not? Okay. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. There's not a big agenda, so is there a motion to receive or to adopt the consent agenda? Who did the moving? Sherry. Sherry, okay. Yeah, who did the moving?
We kind of did it together.
Well, I kind of thought that. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Moserak. And we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Moserak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. Items on the consent agenda, received and filed notification that Thomas Riticelli has been reappointed by the mayor to the Traffic Study Committee with a term to expire March 14th, 2026. Received and filed notification from the Liquor Control Commission that an application has been received from Bell River Winery, LLC, for a new small distiller, small winemaker, and on-premise tasting room license located at 902 Military Street. Approve the qualified licensed establishment of the Hallway Headquarters LLC, doing business as a foundry, into the Port Huron Social District, and recommending applicant be approved by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. Confirmed and approved single lot special assessments for fines, assessments, and/or cost of removing blighting factors and/or causes of blight, as well as the abatement of nuisances. And resolution number 1.
Approving to revoke the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate issued to Hip Hip Huron LLC for the property located at 1026 Military Street.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Lamb, seconded by Councilmember Pemberton.
Madam Mayor and Council, this is a strategic measure to save that tax incentive. Once the clock starts and if it runs out, you could ever restart it and never begin again. So if a future developer comes, and that's no longer a tool we have to help save the Harrington. So we are revoking it to pause that clock so that we can restart it when it's purchased and a new developer comes along with the plan.
Any questions for Mr. Freed?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Have we had any interest up in that at all?
Extreme amount. There's a line.
Oh, okay.
So I'm confident it's there. The issue becomes there's a lot of, it's an old building. It needs a lot of work. What's the end use that makes it pencil on paper? And so we have several developers in line looking at it, and one tries and one doesn't make it. Then there's a couple more in line who want to swing at it. So I'm confident one of them will stick.
And a good thing we still got our ace in the hole. We
Correct.
can always grab it back. Okay, thank you.
Have they forgiven that, the
They're-
monies?
They're working on that right now.
Yeah, because I know that's one of the issues.
It's a huge holdup.
Yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Moserak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. Item 2 under resolutions.
Approving the agreement with the United States Coast Guard to lease a spot in the Thomas Edison Park for the placement and operation of a range light to aid navigation in the opening of the St. Clair River into Lake Huron.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton.
Madam Mayor and Council, this is for the beacon light that's out in the Thomas Edison Parkway. No real changes, just renewal.
Just a renewal.
Yep.
That's in that, I'm sorry, Mayor. Yeah.
Yes.
That's in that corner up there by the
Yep. Big
okay,
green light.
Parkway, yeah.
Do we know when the Coast
much
Guard is
is-
coming back, by the way?
This sometime this spring.
I
I'm
knew it
still
was supposed to
working.
be sometime this
Yeah, I'm
spring.
still working on getting a date of when they're actually going to arrive.
Okay. Did you have a question?
I just didn't, what's the amount? I didn't see.
$100 here.
Anything else? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Moserak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. Actually, it is a short agenda because that concludes the agenda. I do have several announcements, so I'll start with what's on the actual agenda, which is winter decorations in Lakeside Cemetery must be removed from their cemetery plots by March 31st. Removal of remaining items will begin April 1. Weekly curbside yard waste pickup in containers or compost bags resumes the week of April 1st. The City of Port Huron routinely monitors our drinking water quality and provides to our customers the results of this monitoring annually through our Customer Confidence Report, known as the CCR. The City of Port Huron 2023 Water Quality Report is now available electronically online at www.porthuron.org/CCR-PDF. This link is printed on each water bill and provides direct access for viewing. If you are unable to receive this report online, or if for whatever reason you'd like us to deliver a paper copy to you, please call 810-984-9763 to give us your information, and one will be mailed to you. In addition to that, talking about the water bills, the city conducted a viability study of a program called Lockbox for processing mail payments for utility billing and property taxes. Utilizing the Lockbox through our current banking institution reduces man-hours and administrative expenses. This change only affects utility billing and property tax mail payments. There is no change to paying in person at the municipal office center or using our after-hours on-site drop box. The automation of the Lockbox will allow for an import file to be directly loaded into each software program the city uses and apply payments in a much more effective and efficient manner than the past practice of importing manually. The city has also upgraded online payments with a new credit card processor. The home page now has one link for all invoices, bills that are due to the city. This link can be accessed directly from our home page. The new electronic features include text bill payment reminders, pay by text, auto pay options including auto withdrawal. All services must be set up by the payee. There's no charge for the setup. Processing fees do apply. Attached are, well, don't need that part of it. I guess I wanted to bring this up tonight even before it was mentioned, because I know I've read a few comments on Facebook that people think we're getting our water from Detroit now, and that's not the case. It's just merely where this service goes through. It's still handled by the City of Port Huron. That's one of the things. Let me see here. I have
Madam Mayor, if I could note, in just the last 5 days, we've had over 800 people sign up for paperless billings. A big one was the auto pay. A lot of people have been requesting that. Snowbirds who go out of town just want to have an auto pay. We have been able to reduce staffing levels significantly in the treasurer's office. We will continue to do that through attrition. As people retire, we won't replace them. As the more people sign up for this program. So yes, you're mailing your water bill to a Detroit address, but instead of processing center where they open it and process it, and they can do it for about half the administrative cost, we can do it in-house. So you mail your water, we'd have 13,000 water bills that we'd have people open the letters and processing them. That will all be done off-site. But working with Huntington Bank, we're able to offer all these 21st century bill pay options that we couldn't do before because of cybersecurity issues by having that on-site. We're too small of a utility to on-site your data and protect it properly. And so this allows us to work with a large financial institution to achieve those goals.
Anybody have any questions about that particular item before I go on?
Yeah, but they still can bring them to the
Absolutely.
office,
Yep.
right?
The drive-through window's still there. They can still drop it off.
Yeah, and I do, I know you do your best and everything, but I think, we kind of like knew this was coming down. I think we should have notified them prior,
Well, every single resident was mailed two notifications prior.
Okay.
So every homeowner received those 2 things in their mail before this went into place.
When did they come?
I didn't get
Because
one.
I didn't get one.
It's in there. I can find out for you.
I don't know what
I can find out for you. I don't know the exact
It may have
date.
just went out.
Well, no, I was just trying to say out of common courtesy,
absolutely.
Even though it's a good system and change, people like to know what
Absolutely.
is changing, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, one other thing, and this was brought up before also about the Children's Museum, but I guess I would just like to, it has received a few nice highlights in the newspaper and that in the past week, so I would like to mention that last Thursday the county approved a portion of the ARPA allocation to go toward purchase of exhibits, and on Sunday, when the Times Herald posted a feature story on them, it was said that they may be doing that. They did do it, and we expect it to open in the fall. I also want to take a moment to thank a few groups who have helped us make this museum a reality. First, the Knowlton family for their support and generous donation of the building and their collection to the Community Foundation, which has made this possible. The Knowlton Museum has been a staple to downtown and a beloved resource in our community. I'd also like to thank a few champions of children's recreational opportunities who have helped make this possible. County Commissioner Lisa Beeden for securing a portion of the county's ARPA allocation toward the museum, as well as Atchison Ventures for their generous donation and their continued commitment and support of recreation in our area. We are very grateful to have had this level of support from key community groups which have assisted the city to create a children's museum, which we are looking forward to it opening in the fall. So if there's, just one other thing too before we go on there, if you want to mention about when they're going to be fixing the sound system in here?
Yes. Yes, we are having issues with our sound on Comcast. I believe it's first, second week in April. By the time the next council meeting takes place, we will have all new audio, visual, and everything in this room will essentially be replaced that will interface with the technology, and we should be able to resolve a lot of those issues.
Okay. We are not actually adjourning our meeting right now because we are, I will ask for a motion specifically, but we are going to go into a closed session. We do have to come back into regular session to adjourn, but we are moving to room 101 and we will adjourn from there. Anybody is welcome to hang around and wait until afterwards, but I'm just trying to get most of the business of the meeting over first. Is there anything from council that they'd like to state before I ask for a motion?
Mayor, can we do comments on announcements based on anything prior? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking if you want to do that now.
Okay.
Yes,
please.
In case people don't want to hang around until after
Right.
we're done.
That's
So-
what I was thinking. The sound system was one of the seconds, so I just wanted to respond. We welcome you here every 2 weeks. We love seeing you. But I think we don't have answers to give, and so it seems like we're neutral and quiet. But I encourage you to keep coming. And I look forward to the day that we all have the answers that you deserve. Pardon me? For sure.
Then I will ask for a motion that will, it is a motion to go.
You got another?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Conrad.
Just one question, as we're talking about the water billing, and thank you for the auto pay. That's great. Can you, a little context as far as our rate versus surrounding areas was brought up? Can you?
With the water and sewer rates?
Yes.
Yeah, I can put out, I'll send you we have a comparison for each community around us. They'll show you the detail, but the bulk majority of it is our sewer separation billing. No one else around here had to do the unfunded mandate of sewer separation. We had a total of $173 million in cost. Our annual bond payment at some point peaked around $12.3 million to $12.5 million. Now I think it's closer to $9 million. It will continue to drop. As that bond drops, we're able to pay for cash for a lot of the capital projects. So no one else had to do that but us.
No, thank you. And you've sent that to us in the past. I just wanted, to communicate that. Thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, and that bonding is what's killing us because it keep going up, and there's nothing you can.
Yeah, and you just
kinda do
have
about that.
you have higher costs for goods and services, and I mean just our chemicals at the wastewater plant tripled 300% year over year, and you have to have the chemicals.
Yeah, because people are wondering when is that going to go down the sewage. Well, I don't foresee it going down. I see
Correct.
it going up.
Correct.
So,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, go ahead.
Were you going to make a
No,
motion?
I thought you said we.
No,
to say
I
whatever.
need to state something on the motion first, so.
Okay.
Unless you had something else.
Well, I did have something else.
Well, if it's something non-related to going into closed session, go ahead.
Right, it is
Yes.
not related.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's just a public service announcement. I just like other people to know. In my mail today, I had something from the IRS, and somebody might be listening, might help them. And it told me to contact the IRS right away about my income tax and everything. And it turned out to, I called my HR bot people. It was a scam that's going on around. So you never know what people know. You just got to put it out there and hope it helps somebody. So I hope if you get something like that in your mail that you won't go through that whole process, because they can pick up all your information right there. It had a QR code and everything, in responding to your personal information. So I just wanted to put that there. Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion, but I need a motion relative to Section 8C of the Open Meetings Act to go into a closed session to consult with the city attorney regarding pending litigation being Linkey versus the city of Port Huron and
Mayor Rep, I move that we go into closed session to discuss the,
and Brian Kerrigan. I didn't get the rest of that out.
right, okay.
You made the motion.
Support.
We need a voice, yeah. I'm ready.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harenza?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. So we will move to room 101, then we will adjourn from there. We will come back into regular session.